some good stuff. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Open House Thursday on Your View. It's a brand new TVC, and welcome you to the show.
Yay!
Hi, ladies. How you guys doing?
Very good, thank
So
you.
TVC is
Happy
trending today.
Yes.
Yes, we're trending
Looking
because
good in HD.
yes, so
We look fresh today.
we look fresh.
That's
We
awesome.
look modern. We look clean.
vibrant.
We look vibrant. We look excited. Anyway, hi. Let me say hello to you guys. Then we'll come to Yinka, who is the brain behind our relaunch. TVC is rebranding and relaunching today. But let me just say hello very quickly to you. How you guys doing?
I'm very, very good, thank you. ELC has already started too. So once you're done with the show, tune in and watch ELC.
So you're supposed to
Excellence in Leadership
Where do we
Conference.
watch you?
I'll be joining the online church. I'll be joining
so
the
just
online
go to
church.
Daystar Online.
Yes, just go to Daystar. daystarng.org. You get to watch good leadership
can see you
content.
there?
Yes, I'll be
Oh,
there by
fantastic.
11:30.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing great, amazing, good to be here. And nice
Let
to
me come
see
to our guest co-host, Jennifer Mario, founder of the Real Nigga Naija Ladies of Dallas.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I remember that reality show. Really
yes,
nice.
Yes, thank
How
you
you
guys.
doing?
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I love being here. I almost don't want to go back whenever I come. So, you know, I'll just kind of squeeze myself in between two people and
Good to
Jennifer,
have
where
you
are
as
you
our
from?
guest.
Sorry.
Dallas.
Dallas.
But
Are
in
you
Nigeria.
Nigerian?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I'm Isoko.
Okay.
So we have with us Yinka Ajidedidum.
Addicted.
And he is
Yeah.
the group head of our creative team.
Yeah.
And he actually spearheaded our relaunch, which happened today. We have new logos. If you haven't noticed, we have this beautiful look and feel.
Yeah.
We're youthful, we're vibrant, we're excited. And we just thought to bring in Yinka to tell us the reasons why we had to relaunch and the factors that was considered in this new color, new look and feel of TVC.
Yeah, I think it's months of hard work for the whole team and also for the agencies that worked with us. And majorly, the thing there is that the first question you ask, which is why, I think is the most resonating thing that everybody needs to ask. Why did we change? And it's majorly because we did a research and we found out that our viewers actually considered our old logo, old brand as being outdated. It's dark. And also, it's not very, inviting. So we did extensive search on how to, change all that. So we partnered with one of the best design agencies in Nigeria. Yeah, you can see some of them going on there. Wow. So one of the best design agencies to be able to do a new mark for us on a new TVC.
Right.
TVC still remains TVC, but I mean, it's not like it's a new logo, it's a new brand identity that we have right now. Mm-hmm. So the brief was to have something international, something modern, and also fresh. Wow. And also to be able to consider what, to consider what Nigeria, to put Nigeria in consideration.
And the thing is that because we're going to be pure entertainment, the idea is to speak to the young people, as a young audience, because the truth is we have 70% young people in Nigeria, in the entire world, in the entire country.
In fact, our focus now is 17 to 39, the young people and all that.
So you're going to be seeing lots of movies, music, fashion, lifestyle. We're going to be hip, trendy, but everything young, we're exciting, we're modern, we're youthful,
Yeah,
So that means I can't watch 17 to 39, so I can't watch.
No,
Because you're young at heart, and that's the idea.
I mean, in our
capture
brief,
the numbers.
we ensured to make sure that the young people that we use, we are focusing also on diversity, tribes and cultures and things.
So
like that.
that's part of our new logo. For those of you that haven't seen it, also it's on screen going, and that's our mic holders. Just to give you an idea of what logo looks like. We're pretty excited. It's a new one. It's a rebirth.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to the entire team.
And we need to have this more often, so everybody just feels fresh. There's a freshness in the air.
I'm vibrant.
Reflect in your view. Because we're now excited, we're happier, we're not aggressive anymore. We're going to be very excited, right, ladies? We're
Very warm.
So with that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us.
Mariah is
We'll be
really
right
excited.
back. All right, we're going to start with the punch. Tinubu, we don't care whether Atiku holds meetings in the jungle or Dubai. How did I make front page? I'm not sure. Lekki pastor, ex-lover, at war over viral sex video. Avoid looters, Buhari warns aggrieved APC aspirants. Police search for more suspects in Lagos Island cult clash. Adeleke arraigned for exam malpractices, granted bail. Sale of public assets to fund 2019 budget irresponsible, says Atiku. Shiites defy military threats, vow to continue protest. And FG sent NHIS boss on leave, sets up a probe panel. So the human interest to this single pastor, let's be sure to put that single because people start thinking that he's cheating on his wife.
It does not matter, single or not, he was doing something he wasn't meant to do. But his name is Chris Omashola.
Omashola.
And he's the presiding pastor of Zion Wealth of Life Assembly in Lekki. And he's been involved in a relationship with a lady called Tamara Tokoni.
What's it, Tamara?
Oh my God, they put the lady out there on Front Street?
We know that, but the pictures are out there naked.
Their pictures are out there. So what had happened is they're in a relationship, and then there's a video that's gone viral of them involved, being intimate with each other.
Yes.
Good. And so he was arrested because she complained to the police that he did that to force her to marry him. She said she left him because he was violent and he had forced her to get back into a relationship with him and she refused, and because of that he put the video out. And he's saying that I'm a pastor, I have a reputation to protect. Why would I put that sort of video out in the first place? He said that she was actually trying to blackmail him. She had asked for 200 million and he was unable to give it to her, and that was why that video came out. So now we're wondering...
There was a confessional video of the pastor admitting to have done that to get her to marry him.
What do they call that in English again? Adultery?
No. Fornication.
But the confession that he said was already locked up, and he had to say that to get out of it. So now he's speaking the truth, according to him.
Okay, does this guy have 200 million? Like, first of all, let's start from there. Because you see what I'm saying? Like, how does someone blackmail you for that amount? Who are you, and how do you have that kind of money?
I'll take the Lagos Island story because there's been cult clash between two cult groups within Lagos, Okekpopo and Onola boys, and this fight has been ongoing. I even found someone that told me one-on-one on Monday that we need to have reports that people are dying every day. So allegedly over the weekend, one of the boys from Onola got stabbed in the neck. There was a reprisal by Okekpopo. People within that area are not even going into their shops because their shops were getting boggled. However, things were calm yesterday because they involved the military officials. We need to get to the bottom of this. 20 people have been arrested from Okekpopo boys to prevent another attack. So Lagos Island, our hearts are going out to you. Those that lost their lives,
So really sad. Moving on now to The Nation. 2019, why Atiku's dream will crash by Tinubu. PDP plans word-to-word campaign. NLC rejects governor's 22,500 offer. Exam fraud, Adeleke arraigned, passport seized. Oshomole will settle with Amosu and Okorocha. So Tinubu here is saying that, who has that story?
So yes, he was going to visit the president. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, we can just vibe.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so based on the Nation, Tinubu is inferring that Atiku is not going to succeed in his whole 2019 situation, that we need an overhaul in the system, and that a leopard doesn't just change its stripes. But I'm looking at I'm reading it and I'm like, who is talking and who is listening?
What he was inferring was that at first there was a meeting, the campaign had their meeting in Dubai, which was why he was addressing that. Whether you have the meeting in the jungle or in Dubai, it doesn't matter. His statement also was that PDP, you can't rebrand something that we've experienced. Nigeria won't go back. Nigeria won't go back to where we've been, that we've experienced a better style of governance. That was just what he was saying.
Yeah, I got
let me quote him exactly. He said, they say slow and steady wins the race. That's saying that although APC is taking things step by step, and we can't go back to the pit that were inhabited for 16 years. That's once again blaming the past 16 years. And they can strategize from anywhere they want to. A leopard cannot change its skin. All right, let's move on.
Nigerian army found the body of...
We'll take that in Sun.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take that in Sun.
Okay.
Moving on to Vanguard. Minimum wage. Federal government labor tackles state governors. Labour rejects 22,500 and reverts to 66,500 demand. I thought it was 30,000 that were...
No, because since they did not, there was no settlement.
They're going back to start. Okay. APC, National Working Committee, axes Amosu and Okorocha's men. We were jobless, homeless, almost abandoned our conjoined twins, says parents. FG commences subsidy arrears payment. FG to flag off 72.9 billion Apapa Oshodi Expressway reconstruction November 17th. Nima will be happy to hear that. NHIS, at last, Buhari bows to pressure, suspends Usman Probe's tenure. And Nigerian women urged to be unstoppable as WIMBIS convenes 17th annual conference. Right. Let's talk about the minimum wage. Who has that story?
Yeah,
so I think we talked. There's really
we
no
discussed
updates.
it. It's just that because there was no concession between all the tripartite involved, three parties involved. They decided that since you cannot give us the 30,000 naira, we're going to go back and demand for 66,000 naira, and they are intending to go on strike on the 6th. Said that even private businesses shouldn't open; everything will be shut down. So we're waiting for the 6th of November.
How does that help
Senator
anybody?
Adeleke was docked.
Yes, with his brother and 2 other people. So
For exam malpractice, and misrepresentation. I don't know. It's looking almost as if it's a witch hunting.
Yes,
I thought
absolutely.
No, but the thing is, they committed exam malpractices. So the thing, they have to face the law. But, you know, that's the thing. Because we like to choose.
Because now
I know that we like to pick and choose. And then when one side is picked, we call it side. But as Nigerians, the thing is, when someone does something wrong and the person is arrested or docked, it shouldn't be us saying, you know, why is it witch hunting?
Right.
They should talk about witch hunting. But for us Nigerians, we just want the right thing to be done.
Okay. There was a story that was interesting to me. The conjoined twins, the family who actually, they were really poor, and the first child came out stillbirth. The second children were conjoined twins, and thank God an NGO came to their rescue to help them separate. It was actually, so the babies were separated in Abuja, which is great.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the I think the governor's wife has been helping them.
That's so good.
Let's move on to Daily Sun. Missing general's body found in well. We'll get the killers, military vows. There was a story I want to take in Sponge, in Sun. 88 million Nigerians now living in extreme poverty, says a global report. No doubt APC has failed, says Wike. All right, let's take the generals.
Okay, so we remember General Idris Alkali. He was the general that had gone missing September 3rd. He was finally found in Godjwet village, Shen, district of Jos South local government. The military was saying that they were given 3 tasks to find him alive and also to find his vehicle. And in the case where they could not, when they didn't find him alive, they should find out who caused, you know, his death. So the suspect, one of the suspects that had been arrested, took them to the well in which his body was found.
No.
It had been buried in a shallow grave and then moved to that well. And so from now,
we need to draw Nigerians' attention to this global report. I think it's Brookings Institution says that 88 million Nigerians are now living in extreme poverty. Now, what that means is that we've actually exceeded the number of poor people living in India, even though we are 6 times smaller
than India.
in population than India. That is frightening, that is scary, and those are the real issues that we should be asking and demanding of our leaders. Not this politics.
Not the certificate issue. Because what I was saying, that let us focus on, have we been better off?
And do you know what is even more scary? In 4 months, 1.1 million Nigerians have moved from, into extreme poverty.
We are getting poorer. Nigerians, newsflash, hello, we are getting poorer.
And will this change with the strike?
Will this change with the
minimum
parties?
wage?
Will this change with these 2 major parties?
I thought they said we're getting richer. What's going on? All the young people that I know are now hustling and doing things. Is that an illusion? Is that a
definitely?
paint?
Don't look at it. Don't look at Instagram. Instagram is not
Instagram.
People are hustling, are struggling.
But they're still getting poor.
The point is that these are the issues we need to discuss and to determine who our next leader is. So let's not stop acting as if we don't have options.
Yes.
We have options, and we must be clear on who our options are.
Absolutely.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we're starting a series on parenting because we realize that lots of people need guidance, direction on this issue of parenting. There's so many issues to discuss, but today we're going to start with parenting as busy parent. That's our focus today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So discussing parenting cannot be overemphasized. as there's a plethora of angles to look into. So, on today's show, we're addressing a major part of it, which concerns busy parents. Many working parents like us are finding it hard to give full attention to our children. So the question is, how can a busy parent effectively parent their children? Joining us on the show is our own very author of the Out of the Box Parenting, Mr. Praise Fowowe. Welcome to the show, Praise.
Nice.
Good to have you. So you're stuck with us for the next few weeks, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because we
I'm
need
so-
to
I'm so excited.
tackle this issue of
Yeah.
parenting.
Yeah.
So you can call us on 070-806-6801. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Let me just start with my own issue, because I know that, I mean, recently I was telling you that I mentioned that my daughter was lashing out at me saying, you hate me, mom, you don't like me, you don't love me, you love the twins more than me. Now there's a new baby coming and you just definitely don't love me at all. And she just feels she needs my attention, but I'm thinking, I'm here now. The other ones, they see me, they come to me, but she just wants to be called. And I'm like, okay, I make that effort, but I have my time. I get home pretty early. I try to pay attention, and my husband too likes attention. So I'm trying to divide everything.
Right.
But as a busy parent, it's so hard to share that attention equally amongst everybody. That's where my own issue is. Before the other ladies start their own, but maybe you can try to address my
Okay, so we always say that you always find time for what is most important to you. Yeah, and when you have 4 children, a lot of parents don't know that 4 children are like 4 different seeds. So imagine if you have a child who is cocoa, you have a child who is beans, you have a child who is rice, you have a child who is yam. Now, you need to understand that the soil to even create for the effective growth of those kind of seeds are totally different. Now, so this is one of the fundamental issues a lot of parents don't understand. So you try to raise a cocoa like a cassava, you're going to have a problem. So you may have 3 children who fall into a particular personality type, which is, I think, what you're experiencing. Those ones can understand you. There are children that if you yell at them, they don't mind. But there are some you can yell at. That's why consistently you need to first understand the seed in your hand, because the first quadrant is the quadrant of the seed, right? Every child is a seed. You need to understand, who is my child? Your child is not the other child. It's not your second born. It's not the first born, right? So you need to understand what does it take to get the best out of this child. When you understand that, then you will realize that it's more about, because you're a busy parent, it's more about the quality time, not quantity. A lot of us we assume that, I'm talking to my child. You're not talking. You're not communicating, you're just talking. Anybody can talk, not everyone can communicate, right? So a lot of us, our home has become like a barracks. You're just yelling instructions, do this, do this, do this, do this. Your children can't even use their mind to think because what they're doing upsets you.
Right.
So consistently, the first thing I think you need to do is to identify your children, to say, who is this one? Who is this one? Who is this one? What's the best way to get this one? So, this one can warm up to me. This one will not warm up. I need to warm up to her.
Okay,
right? So you need to create a balance.
So I have 2 kids. And for me, 2 kids should be easy to handle.
They're not easy. One is a handful.
You would expect so,
Yeah.
It's not like I have 4 or 6. And my son, he's 7. And he's almost the same age as Mariah's, and he's also lashing out. And I think I'm hands-on, I talk to him. I'm not the bit type. I sit down, and I'll even say, let's have a discussion. Okay. But yesterday you just never listen to me, you never pay me any attention. I'm like, how much more attention can I give?
Okay.
Or are these children just so smart and they're manipulating us? Is that the
problem? It may not be.
Or it may be an age thing.
What I'm hearing from your child is, most likely his love language is quality time. Now, so you now need to ask him, right? Because if it's significant to him, you need to ask him, how would you want me to spend time with you? Right? So, it's like we just assume that, okay, I'm here, I'm spending time, we're discussing. No. You don't understand how he wants it done. You need to pay attention to him. As parents, we have grown so well that we have forgotten that these children are also human beings with emotional needs. Right? So we just think that, you are supposed to understand me. So you need to sit with your child and understand your child and ask the question, okay, I think I'm doing this, but you're saying I'm not doing it. How would you want me to do this?
I can't have that conversation just before school time. I can't have that conversation. Do you understand? We need to get to school, get up and go to school, and he's wasting time,
And then it depends on the time your child wakes up. Right? Because what we need to focus on is that a lot of parents don't focus on the time their children sleep. right? So what you may need to do is to move the sleeping time a little bit lower so that they can wake up earlier.
Okay.
Right? So if they sleep at 7 or 8 o'clock, for example, a child is ready to wake up at 4 o'clock, thereabout, right? So if you make it, because a lot of parents say to me, oh, my child cannot wake up, my child. It's not true. If you tell them cartoon time is now 4 a.m., they will be up.
Let me come in there because let me share a bit of good story, because while I have same 6-7-year-old and we're still going through that, I have learned, when I say learned from you, Praise, I have notification on your posts and I have notification on your email, so knowledge is power. I've learned that we sleep at 7 dots while on the bed. And trying to wake up is still a journey, but I've gotten them tuned to a kind of music. All I need to do is just play my music on my phone in their room, and they would wake up and come and check the song.
Wow.
And that wakes them up without me screaming
So you've
or
created an
shouting.
anchor. Fantastic.
Hypnosis.
So that wakes them up. It's just, and it's been working for me. My challenge is that I have twins. There are 2 boys, they're identical, but they cannot be more different. And one of them is vocal about his attention. I went for open day and I was almost in tears when I got back, because I realized that I just assumed that one was very good. He's academically good, and I ignored him sort of. Because the other one kept saying, I don't know it, I don't know it, I don't know it. I face him, and I ignored one, and his results showed he had been ignored. So, and I feel like I'm a hands-on, I'm aware. There are people that don't even know what's going on out there.
Right.
What can we do to properly, and I want it to be practical, chart the course. So my child, what are the languages we should watch out for to know what the child wants? And how can we now address those needs?
Okay, so your child is sending you a signal consistently. I mean, and I love the analogy you gave. That you are finding out during open day that your child is not doing well is not your fault alone. It's also the fault of the school. Now, school is supposed to feed you back, not on open day, before open day to say, we noticed that this and this and this. I mean, since they're twins, they're in the same school, right? So if one is scoring better than the other, the teacher should take it upon himself to say, oh, man, I noticed this, but our schools, many of them never do that, right? So you are waiting to discover on open day, which is, I mean, you are paid the school. It's a yin-and-yang relationship. Your children are going to school for free, right? So you need to take that up with the school. Now, having said that, you see, children give you a lot of clues. They give you a lot of, signals, right? A lot of parents cannot pick the signal because our parenting knowledge, in this part of the world is a bit, not up there, right? So there is what we call expected behavior and there is bad behavior. A lot of parents can't differentiate between the two, right? So there's an expected behavior for a 7-year-old, for example, it's getting to that age where it's the final lap before he now wants to attain independence, where he wants to do my thing, right? So it's like a departure lounge, or let's put it, like a departure lounge to say, I'm in between, being your baby and in between taking my own independence. So that's the midpoint, right? So you need to understand that. So when your child is 7, you say, Mommy, you're not giving me time, you're not giving me time. It's also because they're noticing that we have the tendency to pay more attention to the younger ones.
We have to go on the break, because I think they're just being spoiled, because there are parents that they work in the bank, they come back at 10 p.m. and they turn out good. So because you're seeing me every day,
exactly.
then I don't give you attention.
You don't see me finish.
You don't see me finish.
Yes.
Let's go on the break. We come back, we'll address how kind of busy parent, really busy parent, not even this one that we are still a bit hands-on. Busy parents really parent their children. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Praise, I want you to help with parents out there who actually, they have to hustle.
Yeah.
Mom, dad, early in the morning, you're out of the house. Parents, the driver takes the kids to school. You do what you got to do. You find time to keep up with the parents, with the teachers, to make sure the kids are okay. You come back from work maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. You're tired. You spend some time with the kids. You really want time. Saturday, Sunday, you try to be available, but you still feel that your kids are a bit distant. What can these kinds of parents do to create some time for these children?
Okay, you need to first create a system around your life. I always say to people, I mean, we're not very heavy on systems in Africa, but I say to people, whatever you do consistently, you must build a system around it. I mean, take for instance, cooking. You know, you use salt every day. You should know the reorder level for your salt, your rice, your beans. We never do it. We wait till it's too late. You just get a kitchen and it looks like breaking news. You know, there's no salt in it. You know, the same way with your children, you need to create a system around your parenting, around your marital life. Now, why parents don't spend time, busy parents don't spend time with their children, it's actually an overload and the stress from work. And also, it's not because the work is that stressful, it's our interpretation of the work that is faulty, right? So when you say my work is stressful, I just want to rest, I want to rest, I want to rest. And a lot of people have been overworked. Yeah, that's a constant. Now, what you need to do is to understand that your children are also very, very important. Now, if your child gets involved in drugs right now, you will drop that job. You will need to spend time with your child.
Absolutely.
Now, so you need to understand that you need to take care of the home front. Now, in taking care of the home front, what I recommend for busy parents is, and for couples, when I talk to them, I'm always looking for the one that is entrepreneurial and the one that is career driven, right? One person should keep a career. The other person should be entrepreneur. One of you have to also have time. Now, wherein the two of you don't have time, then you now need to begin to create a support system around you where you don't want to use the grannies. There was a time in my life that myself and my wife were very busy. She was a banker, I was working as a consultant, you know, and our baby was 2 years or 3 years thereabout. Now, my mom was living in Surulere, so I'll drop him off, go to work, pick him, then go and pick my wife.
Right.
Now, that was our way. So you need to use support system. However, in using support system, you need to create a script that you have given the person who is serving as your support to now say that my child is not me. This is my child. This is how I want to raise this child, right? So that's why we call something perceptual code. If you have a perceptual code for your child, your perceptual code is what the interpretation of every child in your family and what you see. So if you say my child is a royalty, how do you raise royalties? What are the language you must not use? How do you correct royalties? Well, so once that is clear, every support system you have created, you need to indoctrinate them to understand that this is the language.
Okay,
if you're hiring a domestic help, you need to take them through induction to understand how these things work.
Let me take this call from Jen, then I'll come to you, Jen.
Okay.
Dino, thanks for calling from Warri. Go ahead, please.
Don't listen to yourself, please.
Hello, Dino.
Yeah, hello.
Go ahead, please. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Okay, good morning to all of you. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to appreciate you for the discussion this morning that you're having, and then also to bring a different perspective to it, in the sense that there are some parents that work offshore. They don't work on a daily basis. They travel 28 days, then they come back. So how do you expect that parent that has not been around for 28 days to recover those lost days of the child which he wasn't there with them, and then not catch up with the present state?
Thank you very much, Dino.
Very good question.
I mean, good question, which brings a lot of balance. Now, again, so it comes back to the parenting script. I had a client I was working with on that, whose husband works offshore, to say you and your wife are one. And that's one thing we need to consistently communicate. If I'm spending time with my children, it's me and my wife spending time. She doesn't have to be there, right? You need to do that. Then with technology now, you need to maximize the use of technology, to say at least let your children see you. You're offshore, but you can use Skype. You can talk to them every day. Of course, there will be that gap of your presence because your children prefer to give you a presence than your presence. But the fact that dad is able to talk to us, we have family time together. I mean, if you're a Christian, for example, you can pray together every morning and pray together every evening. If it's a phone call, you talk to them one after the other, get to know what is going on in their life. And when you are back, you need to be at home. Right? You need to be back. Because what I see is, for a lot of busy parents, they have Saturday and Sunday. But Saturday and Sunday is also taken over by some form of activities, be it religious or whatsoever, or Owambe or what have you. You need to be there. So I interviewed the CMD of the bank many years ago. So I was asking him, how do you cope? And he said to me, Praise, I'm very busy, but what I do is I ensure that we have a meal together every day. no matter what happens, except I'm out of the country. Now, that meal time, so I asked him, what do you do? He said, that meal time is when we talk. It's when they talk to me. It's when they correct me. They tell me, Daddy, you are not available, and blah, 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 blah. He said, I'm able to use that meal time to bond. What your child needs is bonding. Now, so you need, as a parent, you and your wife, you need to create a script around your parenting. And because,
let me just come in here for a second.
I can't even remember the last time I had a meal with anybody, not to talk of 3 children. So my kids are 10, 6, and 18 months. There's 4.5 years between all 3. So while this one is going to middle school, this one is in elementary, like I have to really be moving around. And I do travel a lot, my husband and I. So here's the question. Have you found that this whole busy parenting thing is kind of channeling towards the woman? I feel like no one asks my husband. When I get on TV like this, people always say, so how do you do it? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm working. I'm hustling. Why isn't anybody asking my husband the same question when he's not around as well?
I think it's a mindset. It's a mindset that, I mean, and you hear it in a lot of proverbs and adages across town, that it takes a woman to make the home work. The woman is the homemaker. She's the home builder. And I'm wondering, how well can a woman build a home that a man has vowed to destroy?
Exactly.
You know, so, I mean, it takes 2 to do.
Get it.
So you see it in the narratives where you ask a man to babysit, and he's saying, you are turning me to a woman, and I'm saying, who are you babysitting? Whose child are you babysitting?
Exactly.
Your wife's child or your child?
Exactly.
You know, so it's something that we need to consciously install in our new men. To say that, you say some jobs have not been over you, your child because the esteem of a child actually comes majorly from the father, right?
Really?
So you need to understand that your child needs your presence. That's why if you want to talk to your children and you're talking to them as a mother and you're saying, I want you to do this, and he's arguing with you and you say, I'm going to report you to your father. You realize that it just shapes up immediately, right? To say the role of the father cannot be, absent in the life of a child. That's why we even say to single parents that you need to find a father figure for your child, right? So what you need to do is, your situation may be peculiar. Now, for a peculiarity of your situation, you need to find the wisdom to handling it, because there's a way to.
Let me take this call from Victor. Victor, are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry. We kept it for so long. Yes, Miriam.
Okay, so I've heard you say, you've talked about support system.
Yeah.
And I've heard you talk about using technology.
Yes.
But then I worry sometimes, do you have too much help sometimes, in running your home, because you're not there, and then you have a help, you have a grandparent, then is there a danger in that, of having too much help? And
you don't need too much help.
And then secondly, the social media and how it has helped. But sometimes I find that some people would make time out away from the physical workplace and decide to do it online, hoping that when they're physically present, that it's enough. But, when you're on that social media, it seems like you're not mindfully present.
A lot of us are not mindful. I mean, because...
You see that, I had that same challenge where you have a very good, competent support system that you don't need to be there.
Yes.
And so they are handling your kids for you, and you're no longer effectively parenting because you have a support system.
That's why, you see, your support system is actually hired to carry out a script. That's why you need to create a parenting script and give the script to your support system to tell them, this is what... I mean, the whole concept of mentoring was a man, Odysseus, who was going to war, right? And he wasn't sure he was going to come back, and he handed the parenting script to Mr. Mentor to say, this is how I want this child raised. I'm not sure I'm going to come back. And he came back 21 years later, and the boy was raised exactly to specification. The problem is, many of us don't even have any script.
How do you give a script to your mother or to your
mother-in-law?
You need to. I mean, the first time my children were going for holiday with my mom, I had to tell her, Mom, I know you love to watch a particular station, but these children don't watch this.
Yeah, but these parents don't be listening, though. These parents are stubborn.
My mom,
you do what they want. They don't be listening.
It depends on how you communicate these things, right? So it's important for us to communicate right. Which is very critical. There was something you raised, it just skipped me now.
Social media?
Social media. Now, so you realize that a lot of us spend more time on social media. My office did something for me about 3 weeks ago. They collected my internet-enabled phone, and they gave me some phone that has no internet for 2 weeks. Now, I went about my day. I didn't know what was happening in Nigeria. I didn't have access to Twitter. My stress level dropped. We always behave as if this social media has been with us forever, right? So we are talking to a virtual audience who don't even care about you.
Absolutely.
And your child is seeking for your attention. So what I say now is, when it's me and my children's time, my phone is not even around me. I'm not going to pick your call, right? Because if you check, and you can try it today, every parent can try it, calculate intentionally the number of hours you spend on social media per day, you'll be shocked.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we need to just bring this conversation home because some people still need help. Like, what is parenting gone? Because the parenting they passed on to us
the beating
is different from the parenting that
Yeah,
you're
they're asking us.
beating, igbaju, igbarun. That's, I mean, so we need to really come bring it home. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So in rounding this up, Praise, many of us have our own backgrounds, how we're brought up. But I need you to help us understand exactly what parenting is in the 21st century. Help us break it down to us.
Okay, it has not really changed. I mean, the word parenting, like I always say, is the word bring forth, right? Which means someone who can bring out the potential of a child and make it find expression in the society in service to God and humanity. That's the entire concept, right? To say that your first job as a parent is observation, right? You need to observe who your child is because you don't know that child, right? Your next thing is interpretation. Now, when your interpretation is faulty, you're going to damage the child. Unfortunately, the way our parents raised us up, you know, it's not, I mean, we say we turn out right, but what's the opportunity cost on our confidence, on our esteem?
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of us grew up with low self-esteem. So we mistake domestication for discipline in this part of the world. So that's why we always say, let's get a lot of parenting literacy, you know, because that's why the day you get pregnant is not the way you deliver. It takes 9 months. What are you doing for 9 months? There are books you could have read. There are courses you could have taken. In fact, there are online courses now that you can take that tells you how to raise a child and what you do in the first 5 years thereabout. You know, so it's important for people to know that in the parenting quadrant, there are 4 quadrants. There is the seed owner. In Africa, we say the seed owner is God, right? There's the seed handler, which is you. There is the seed, which is the child, and the environment of the seed. Now, the greatest problem of the seed is often the seed handler. Either the seed handler is assuming I know a child is, so you misjudge the potential of a child and you eventually mess the child up. A lot of parents are damaging their children, thinking they're raising their children without knowing, right?
I'm sorry, sir. Yeah. Is it possible that in this new era, we're giving our kids too much option, thereby now endangering them?
Well, you can't say that because, I mean, as Africans, we say this is our way, but our way, what has it produced? I mean, people become, how you measure how well the people have been brought up is you look at the environment. Look at Nigeria. Nigeria, we talk about that is bad. It's a reflection of us. So if Nigeria is like this, it's a reflection of us that our parents produced.
So, what I'm hearing you say that you must first admit that we were brought up wrong.
Yes.
And we need
must
help.
admit
yes.
that, listen, yes, we look good, we are doing well, but we're not at the peak.
Because
if we compare ourselves to other countries, we're not even close.
We're not close.
So that means we need to go back to the basics.
Yes.
Understand what parenting should be.
Yes.
Give our children options.
Yes.
Help them to grow so that they can actually make better choices.
Yeah, you actually need to teach your children concentration, and there's an easier way. I mean, I'll be very practical here. I mean, a lot of parents are saying, I can't take my children. So, for example, many of us were taught concentrate, be focused. But how many of you were taught how to concentrate? You were not taught. Now, there are ways to teach it, which is you bring an opening and a closure to every activity your child does. Okay. So, for example, I can tell you for free, without being at home, that my children's bed are laid. I can tell you. Because what we do is, so we say there's a sleeping process. Sleeping process starts from the time you go to have your bath, put on your pajamas, and it ends when you lay your bed.
In the morning.
In the morning. So they even come to my room and say, when my bed is not laid, they said, Daddy, have you not finished sleeping? What they're telling me is you have not laid your bed.
Yes.
So they do it themselves right now.
So what I get from you is the importance of laying down a routine,
a
system on how we want to.
So they have an eating process. Eating process never ends until you wash your plate. Now, school process doesn't end until you go upstairs and change. Right, so there's a process for and these are simple things that if you install this by next week, people are sharing testimonies. You know, it took them 2 days to master this one.
Wow. Okay, so there's this, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, okay, good, this is the best way to raise a child. And a few of us probably are now beginning to raise our child this way. What happens to these children who now go into the larger Nigerian society? Where a lot of them are not raised this way. Okay, so what you do is, we used to have community parenting. So you need to, this is already a community. So you can create a new tribe, a new community where your children are playing with Morello's children, they're playing with, so they see themselves as a new breed, a new tribe, right? You can create a name for them to say you guys are global heroes, you know, so they know.
that even though we live in the larger community, we are not the larger community. We
Yes,
are
yes.
right? No matter where a Jewish child goes to or a Japanese
Still a
child,
Jew.
they're not going to conform.
Yes.
They're not going to conform. Even 10, 20 years down the line, if they were born in America, you still feel the accent.
And that's a function of parenting. They
Parenting.
programmed them right.
The Jews have a 14-year script. So what we do in Africa is we give birth to a child and we take the child for dedication. We don't understand that when the Jew takes a child for dedication, there's a process. They have a 14-year script wherein after 14 years, you bring the child back to the community, you lay your hands on the child as a parent, then you say to the community, this is my son, whom I'm well pleased. It's a parenting script. And that's what we need to do. So yes, you may be busy, but you can create.
You've not gotten
That is
anything right.
amazing.
You've not gotten anything at all. What you should go home with.
Wow.
Is that parenting right now is deliberate.
Yes.
And that for everything you do, your kids do, schooling, bathing, sleeping, eating, there's a process.
Yes.
So start, okay, the first thing you do and the
Documenting
last
the
thing.
process.
So you document it
Standard
and
of
you share with
operation
them.
of the house.
It's like standard of operation.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So they understand. So when they start building on that processing, it becomes a part of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we can get feedback next week for parents who
Yes.
go
That's
to
Thank you so
amazing.
much.
Thank
We
you
can
so
never
much.
have enough of you.
Yeah.
You have to give us a last word. Give us just say something to our parents, please.
Okay, like I said the last time I came here, you need to understand that you have only done the best you could with what you knew, so you are not bad. So don't be hard on yourself, but there's always something new to learn. You raise a child to become himself, not to become you. So stop putting unnecessary pressure on your children, and please, interpretation is key. There is signal that your child is sending you consistently. Don't take a position without asking the child the intention behind the action is taken, right? So always ask him, engage him. Why are you doing this, right? Once you hear from his side, you realize that your moods and your opinions may change. And please, when you come home, let work be work, let home be home.
Okay, let's take it to Dallas. We need that lecture.
That's
back
all
home.
we can take on the show. I hope you learned as much as we have.
Yes,
as I said, it's a series. We want to continue this, hopefully as long as it takes, because people need help and guidance on parenting. So Praise is with us. He's not going anywhere. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.